and welcome to another episode of We Don't Watch Movies, featuring me, Corinne.
And me, Monze. Bum, 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 bum. We don't watch movies.
There we go. So, this episode, we're doing a movie I have seen that Monze has not seen. How she has not
never
seen this.
seen.
It kind of blows my mind.
I never will see it.
It kind of blows my mind.
You cannot make me watch this. You
the
know
movie.
something, Corinne, can
Yes.
I say?
Yeah.
I read the books. Did you know this?
I think you told me you read the books.
I don't think I read the last book.
Uh-huh.
But I read the books before it became a thing.
Uh-huh.
And I read the first one and I was like, okay, like, it's interesting, whatever. And I told a friend, I was like, yeah, just read it, whatever. And then it went psycho bananas. And I was just like, I don't understand, because I'm like, at this point, I just kind of want to know how it ends.
Yeah.
Because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, but everyone was getting so deranged. We're really building and hyping this
We
up.
really are. I love that we're talking about it without actually naming it.
Yeah,
I love it.
and
I love that you're
like,
doing that.
I don't understand. And it got to the point where I was like, I don't even want to finish reading this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm stepping away. I'm good. So I think I read the first 2 or 3 books, possibly. 8th grade.
Ooh.
Yep.
8th grade.
Yeah. And then the movies were announced, and I was like, why? And I was in high school, and I was like, I don't get it, but okay. And then people, again, going crazy cuckoo banana pants, and I was like, so glad I was so casual in this, because I don't want to be these people. And I'm proud of myself for stepping away when I did, and for continuing to step away. Unfortunately, you are bringing it to me.
Yes, I am.
So, but yeah, that's all I have to say on that subject at the moment. So
I see.
Carry on.
All right. So, I mean, I only read the first book, and even the first book was I had to force myself to read through it, because I was like, this is not good. I don't want to keep reading this. And then I read, the sneak peek for the second book, and I was like, this is so boring. I don't even want to read this based on this, so I just stopped.
I have, like, this vague memory of this scene. Like, I'm in art class, and I have the book in my hands, and I think it's, like, they're in a car. Or she's in a car and she's gonna get hit or run over by a car.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
At this point, the audience knows.
That scene kind of lives rent-free in my mind, because when I was reading it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was just like, what the literal fuck is happening?
Yeah. All right. We won't hold you in suspense any longer. The movie we are talking about is the one and only, the myth, the legend, the reality that we live in. It's Twilight.
Twilight.
Yeah.
Do they have that scene in the movie?
Yeah.
It's like a plaza, right? Like a park, like a shopping mall plaza.
It's like the school parking lot.
It's something so I don't even know.
It's really stupid.
It's so stupid. And like I said, it lives sort of rent-free in my mind. Like, I can see the pages in my head. What it says, I don't know, but I know vaguely there's something about a car and getting hit, and it was just so stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will preface with, make no mistake, even though this is the movie I want to talk about, I am not a Twilight fan or stan. Like, not at all. I just want that out there. I don't like Twilight. I don't like the books. The movies, at this point, I wouldn't say I love the movies genuinely. It's more like, at this point, they've come around to almost campy, and I think they're funny. But I think they're very stupid, and they're not good, and I don't like the story. I'm very Twilight critical. So, I just want to put that out there. But I think the first movie is pretty hilarious, and at this point, kind of icon status, as, like...
Icon status.
It's just so... It's like, this is a movie that's so bad it's good, in my opinion. And is surprisingly a pretty faithful adaptation of the book. So
is Cats, the musical.
Yes! I was about to say, how I feel about Twilight is how I feel about Cats. Because I also really enjoyed the movie Cats, even though it's kind of a horror show. Slightly different feelings, but in the same camp of, I love Cats. It's hilarious. So bad it's good. A fever dream of an experience. So, Monze, I know you talked about how you only read the books, and you kind of touched on this, but I want you to go deeper. Why did you just not, like, why haven't you seen it, and why did it not catch you? What was, like, the moment where you were like, this is too stupid for me, I'm out? Like, when did it lose your investment to the point where you didn't want to watch this movie?
I am someone, Corinne, you're fully aware, that I don't like to be into things that are popular. I am the original hipster. Really and truly, so when things get popular after I like it, I'm like, okay, weird, but I liked it first. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it's also like, if it's just really big, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's something going on there, and I am someone who I don't like being on bandwagons. I got into One Direction during their second to last album.
Yeah.
And then they, what's his name?
Zayn.
What's his name?
Zayn.
See, don't even know his fucking name.
I'm not even a fan, but I know the name because I follow
Zayn left, and I was like, I'm never going to be able to see them all together in concert. And then they released their last album, and then, as we know, several months ago, one of the members died, and I was like, now I'm never going to see them together in concert. So, so I'm always late to the party.
Yeah, your One Direction era was kind of weird and came out of nowhere to me.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I heard one song, and I was like, oh, I like this.
Because I still don't
What
really
else
like
have I been missing? So that is kind of who I am.
Yeah.
And as we said, I read the book and I was like, okay. I was like, well, let me see what happens in the second. And I was like, this is stupid, whatever. And I think I read the third. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I literally cannot do this anymore. My cousin literally pre-ordered the book. I think the fourth book.
Is there? It's a trilogy. It's a trilogy because
three?
they did the sequel, the 2-part sequel.
Okay, all right, never mind. So they pre-ordered the third book, and they were so excited, and like it was in Texas, and I was like, "Is this all that you guys have here? Like, there's nothing else? Like, this is what we get hyped about because there's nothing else in your stupid little town." Okay, so I only read the first 2 books, I think.
Although there is a fourth one. There's like Midnight Sun that was supposed to be like, it's the first book, but from Edward's point of view. But then Stephanie Meyer was like, JK, I don't want to release this because it got leaked. But then I think it got I don't know. There's like a whole...
I don't know any of that drama.
Yeah.
And then... And it could be like... As I think about like the people... Like the cast, I didn't find any of the cast attractive, and none of them. I still think they all look terrible.
I like Kristen Stewart.
I don't know. To me, she's still just like, just another boring white girl on screen. Robert Pattinson's trying really hard not to be a boring white man on screen. Taylor Lautner married a woman named Taylor, and she took his name, so they're both named Taylor Lautner.
I think that's really funny.
Craziest.
That's hilarious.
The craziest thing in the world to me.
I mean, Taylor Lautner and Taylor Swift were like the it couple before. Like, that was the whole thing.
The Taylor thing. I don't think I could. This is just, again, now we're just sidetracking, whatever. But to date someone who has your same name,
it's kind of weird.
Hate that.
Yeah. You know, can I add, like, in Love is Blind, though, they think that's such a connection. They'll be like, this guy will be like, hey, my name's Dave. And she'll be like, oh my God, you know what's so crazy? My dad's name is Dave.
Oh my God.
And it's like, what? Or it'll be like, someone will be like, oh yeah, my dad, his name's Robert. She's like, oh, my dad's name is Robert. Oh my God, we have so much in common. And then
you don't!
And then they get married because both their dad's name are Robert, or because the guy's name is her dad's name or her brother's name or whatever. And or like, oh my God, you have the same name as my dog. Let me give you my dog's collar to show how much I like you. And it's like, this is not romantic. Anyways, some people don't think that's weird.
I think it's very weird.
Yeah, I want a distinct name.
My friend's brother, his name's Cody, married a woman, I think he has the same name as her. And then she has a brother named Cody and a sister named Sammy, which is same name as her sister.
Oh.
And again, her brother, which I was like, white people.
You know what? It's mostly, yeah. It's just
Maybe
boring straight people, I I think it's
maybe it's because like there was a
Street.
time when everyone was fucking named John and Sally that it was just like there was no getting around it.
I guess I would be surprised if that was the case because John is a biblical name, and I don't think Sally is a biblical.
You don't know Saint Sally?
Saint Sally? What is Sally short for? There's no way that's just the full name. Here's my
It
baby
is.
Sally.
I guess it's a weird Google. Let's baby name cast.
Surely Sally is short for something.
Anything? Sarah.
Oh, so Sarah is biblical. Okay, it could be. It could be that.
I didn't know that.
That Sarah is biblical?
Here someone else says it's not short for anything. Sally means princess.
That's what Sadie
But it was
means.
originally a nickname for Sarah.
Yeah, that's...
Because I guess babies can say Selwa, so they say Sally, Sally, Sally. Same thing. It's all stupid.
Babies don't give themselves a nickname, though. The parents are giving them a nickname. They're the ones going...
No, I'm not saying the baby saying that my name's Sally now. No, I'm saying like, here's your brother, here's your sister Sarah, and they're like Sawa, and they're like, you can't say it. What should we call me instead? They're like, call him Sally, Sally. Like it's still the same.
It's
thing.
the same lisp.
Yes, no, that's in my scenario though. The lisp is the same, so it's stupid. I don't know if other babies can pronounce the L. I feel like L is a hard letter.
L is a hard one. That's like the English letter that a lot of people trip. L and R is a hard one.
R,
Those are
yeah.
difficult sounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whether it's native or non-native.
Yeah, it's anywhere in the word, it's hard. Like they're so, to the point where English speakers sometimes, depending on the accent, don't even have an R.
The L's or
the R or the L. But yeah, it's a hard one. Okay.
We really talked a lot about Twilight the movie so far.
Coming back to it.
Anyway,
you know what?
That's why I've never watched Twilight, because of a girl named Sally.
A girl named Sally. When Monze met Sally, she knew Twilight was not it.
Never gonna watch it.
Never gonna watch it. Okay. Well, I would ask, what do you think happens? But you read the book.
I read the book.
Yeah. Do you still remember?
Yes. So that stupid white girl, she goes to live in whatever Forks, Washington.
Yes.
And to live with her dad.
Yeah.
I believe her dad's I think he's a policeman.
He is. He's the best character in the whole series.
That's what I've heard. I've heard the dad is like the guy.
The actor is very charismatic, and the character is like where all the comic relief gets put. So
yeah,
he's very likable.
And she's all like depressed because she's in fucking middle of nowhere Washington.
Yep.
And she's like the new girl, and she catches the eye, or her eye is caught on Edward, this weird sort of super rich, handsome boy, and he's got like his super rich, handsome siblings. Yeah. And she's like, who's this guy? And everyone's like, oh, that's just Edward. And also he thinks he's better than everyone, so we don't hang out with him. And she's like, okay, whatever. But she like runs into him somewhere, and she's like, oh, wow, you're deep. And he's like, yeah, I am pretty deep, aren't I? But I can't be with you for some reason. She's like, why? I don't understand. He's like, it's better that you don't understand. But they keep like meeting up with people, and he's like, I'm drawn to this basic white girl. Oh my God, I'm drawn to her for some reason unknown to man. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember how she finds out he's a vampire. That's what I don't remember that at all. No recollection. And she's like, oh my God, you're a vampire. And he's like, yeah. And we live in this shitty town in Washington because it's so cloudy all the time, so we don't have to worry about being out in the sun. I remember that. It was so dumb. I was like, what? Yeah, and I feel like, what happens in that first book?
What happens in that first book?
Like, I feel like that's it, and then she's just like running around with these vampires now, and yeah, wow. But she's still like a moody teen. And she's still kind of pissed off. I think her mom, I don't remember what her mom is. I think she's on a trip or something. And she's like, go live with your dad while I'm going on this thing. And she's like, man, I don't even like my dad. You guys are divorced. I haven't seen him in years. So there's also like this weird like, hello, daughter. And she's like, hello, father. That kind of thing. And then I think at the end she's like, I guess I don't hate it here in this weird Forkstown, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
How'd I do?
Pretty much. Just you missed the plot, but you got.
I don't remember the plot.
You got the general
I
story.
don't remember the plot.
Yeah, there's like all the vampire part of the plot is not in there, but in terms of what Bella is concerned with, that's pretty much what it is. It's so funny hearing it being said back though, because I'm like, the impact this movie had on fanfic.
Yeah,
cannot be understated. That's the thing. It's like this movie is so like, it's not good. I don't like the series. I don't like the franchise. I don't even like Stephenie Meyer that much. I don't like hate her, but I don't like her that much. I don't love her, right? She's not like God to me. And I know some people have kind of come around to her and are like, oh, we were really, really mean to her for like no reason. I think there was some unnecessary vitriol towards the movie, towards the actors, Kristen Stewart, Stephenie Meyer. But it's not good.
It's not good.
No. It is in no world
I think,
it a
like,
good movie.
It serves its purpose as a young adult novel to, like, get kids to read, like, whatever. It's kind of interesting. You're getting it from the point of view of, like, this dumb teen.
Yeah.
So it's, like, you as a teen are like, yeah, that is the shit I am interested in, right? Like, yeah, I do think it is weird that there's this weird hot guy. Like, what is he up to, right? Like, what's going on? Like, that, it serves its purpose, but I think for it to be made in, like I said, right? Like, even as a teen, I was like, why is this being blown up? Because this isn't, like, an amazing story that is so fantastic. Even these characters aren't, like, great characters where I'm like, you know, so memorable, you know. There's nothing really memorable about it. To me, it's just another young adult novel. Yeah. You know, a dime a dozen kind of thing. And I think, in a way, it got lucky that it got hyped so much. But at the same time, like, I can see why, right? Because I don't think there was anything before that time that was, like, this mix of, I don't know, in a way, like, reality and that fantasy. But it wasn't, I don't know. It was easy to digest these kinds of vampires as opposed to be like, imagine if you met like a real, actual scary vampire instead of like a sad boy emo vampire.
I was gonna say, I feel like the sanitizing of the vampires and like the glamorizing, the glow up or whatever that you want to call it of it definitely contributed. There are people that care way more about Twilight and are more in the depths of it that have made phenomenal video essays about this kind of thing before. ContraPoints is one of them that I highly recommend. So I can't really speak to it because I would just be spouting off my poor memory of what they were saying. But I do think you're onto something, and I do think my thought is like, well, it's like a safe vampire to have a crush on. Yeah. You know? So, and it's like, it came at a point, I think, where you had the younger audience that this is like their first sort of book exposure to it, because I'm sure there are other examples of this, you know, like the Beauty and the Beast archetype has been around forever, right? The woman falling in love. Like, monster fuckers have been around since the age of humanity.
Good old-fashioned monster fucking.
Good old fucking monster fucking. But it's like you had the teen girls, and then you had the actual young adult girls, and then you had their moms. So it's kind of just... It's like, you know, you have a family full of women and then the unsuspecting husband, and like all those women are just sharing this book around, you know. So I think it was like the power of the female consumer is what got this really big, and sometimes female consumers don't have good taste, but you know, male consumers don't either. So this is what we get. I sent you the trailer.
Yes, I see it. I really hate that it's going to be in my YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, incognito?
It's already too late. I already clicked on it.
Okay. Well, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, well.
Well, moving on.
Some violence and a scene of sensuality.
One scene.
PG-13. Oh, look at these clouds. On November 21st. Oh, shitty pickup. Nothing will be the same. There he is. Uh-oh, here's the stupid ass fucking car for no reason! It's in the trailer!
Did you see the inverted color.
Oh my god.
The negative.
You smashed the car.
You're impossibly fast. So strong. You gotta give me
You're
some
so
answers.
I'd rather
fast.
hear your theories.
I have considered radioactive spiders.
Why is he climbing up a tree with her on top?
We'll get into it.
What if I'm not the hero? What if I'm the bad guy?
What if I'm the bad
If this was made
guy?
now, it would be Billie Eilish's bad guy on top of
Don't
this.
go out into the sunlight.
See it.
I don't know enough Billie Eilish to understand what song you're talking about.
Are you afraid?
Are you afraid of me, a vampire?
This kind of stuff just doesn't exist.
It does in my world.
Ha
I
ha
just
ha.
want to try one thing.
Kissing you without sucking your blood.
I don't know how long I've waited.
There's no real vampire stuff in this trailer yet. Oh, here we go.
Female got killed by some kind of animal.
There's the dad.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
My family, we're different from others of our kind.
Oh, that guy's boobs out?
A snack.
What, now he's coming after me?
Oh, is this the fucking kickball scene?
He's never gonna stop.
Baseball, yeah.
I'd rather die.
Baseball or whatever?
Stay away from you.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
From the worldwide
bestseller.
bestseller.
I'll do whatever it takes to make you safe again.
I need to save you. Basic white girl. I need to save you.
Faster than the others. But not stronger. I'm strong enough to kill you.
Wow.
You are my life now.
No. No. If a boy said to me when I was, even today, you are my life now, I'm putting a restraining order on that fellow.
Monze, what if you're my life now?
No, I'm putting a fucking restraining order on you.
Alright, well, that's the trailer. Do you
Get
want
your own goddamn life.
It's not good
I'm
right
sorry.
now.
That's why I want you to be mine.
Actually, I don't know if I want it. I don't know if I want your job.
Hey! It's great when it's not awful. It's not true for everything.
I'll leave it at that.
Ain't that true for everything, though?
Anyways, do you want to add or amend anything to what you
Okay, so while this is also happening, for some reason, his family, I don't remember if it's like one of his brothers or if it's like a cousin, for some reason is like, why are you dating a human girl? He's like, don't you know humans are food? And he's like, she's not food, she's my girlfriend. He's like, we need to better control ourselves. Because I remember him, like, just drinking blood from, like, fucking deer and shit. Like, it was like, just eat it, just drink blood from a goddamn human! The camera was shaking.
I know, it, like, moved.
And so they're all like, we're gonna show you, Edward, it's not, you can't be like this, so we're gonna kill and eat your lady. And he's like, you can't do that. Or maybe, is there like a stupid fucking vampire council? Maybe it's like the fucking vampire council that's like, hey, this is wrong. And the family's like, we've been living here for like 100 years and we've just been living our lives. Let Edward have his little human girl child toy. That kind of thing. And obviously they defeat them, or at least they defeat maybe the guy who was sent, and then, because I think the next, the other book, you see more of the council, and I think the other movies have like this stupid council thing, so yeah.
Yeah. Which, Michael Sheen is...
Yes, Michael Sheen, that's the only reason I know.
And Dakota Fanning. It's
I think
weird.
Lee Pace.
Yeah,
is in
Lee
there,
Pace,
too.
I think so. It's weird the, like, number of big hitters that are like, oh, they're in this movie. Like, this was, like, Anna Kendrick's really first big movie.
Yeah.
Obviously Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart, Taylor Lautner. I feel like there's someone else, but I can't think of it who also... Anyways. Which is kind of wild to think about. All right.
There's a killer song in one of the soundtracks that I really like. It's called, what's it called? White Demon.
A Killer's song?
Yeah.
That makes sense because they're also more
White Demon Love Song. That's the name of the song. I like it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna describe the movie how I remember it, and I will call out the iconic scenes
Okay.
that are the reason why I think this movie is really funny. So I think it opens, first of all, so movie, female director Catherine Hardwicke, shout out. I do think that is something to be noted. Also, I feel like this is Summit Entertainment's like one of their first big movies. Like I feel like this was the movie that kind of made the production company. I might be mistaken, but when this came out, this was very much like a small sort of thing, because Summit was like independent according to Wiki from 1991 to 2012, so they're like a small studio before they got bought out by Lionsgate. So it starts off with this like POV shot of like running through the forest, and the movie's also colored very like blue, gray, green. It's very like, because it's Pacific Northwest, it feels rainy and it looks rainy. And it's like the first line of the book, I think, where Bella's like, oh, when I died, this and this, that and that, or what she's talking about, like her dying, which I think I remember was like how the first book opened too. Then, yeah, so there's that kind of abstract thing or whatever, and you're like, okay, what? And then we cut to Bella is moving into Forks. She's standing there with her cute little cactus to show that she's from Arizona. Which is really funny to me.
Especially because, like, aren't the cacti in Arizona, like the saguaros, like protected? So technically you wouldn't have one with you?
Well, it's like a little like plant shop.
Okay,
cactus.
it's just like okay.
Yeah, it's just to show that she came from the desert, which is, the environmental storytelling is like so campy, it's hilarious. So she's standing there with her little cactus and her Mary Sue self, walking around the house, looking at her room. Charlie, her dad, is like, oh, you know, you haven't been here a while, haven't changed your room. And she's like, yeah, it's nice, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, so they kind of have this awkward father-daughter relationship thing going on. The mom, she's living here because the mom is like remarrying someone or whatever. I don't exactly know the custody situation, but for some reason she's living with her father. And then she goes,
I'm married. I want to fuck all the time, and I don't want to deal with you.
I don't even know.
It's literally what it sounds like you just told me.
Yeah, that's literally like her mom. Oh, maybe it's her husband. It says he's a minor league baseball player, so I guess he's traveling, and the mom wants to go with him.
Not even major, minor league.
So I guess now Bella, for stability reasons, is being sent for high school to go live with her dad because the mom is, I guess she's traveling with her new husband or whatever. Anyways, so Bella's over here. The dad is like, here's your car. Here's what you can drive. It's like this.
Here's your car.
Yeah, it's like this beat up old car, like truck. And
Yeah.
she's like, it's great, thanks, it's perfect. But, you know, she doesn't like it there. She drives to school, and it's a small town, so everyone's like, ooh, like, what's going on? Oh, also, I think she meets Taylor Lautner, whose name is
Jacob,
thank you. I was like, what's the other team besides Team Edward?
Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob, who's also there with his dad. And they're like, you remember Jacob, right? She's like, yeah, I remember you. You got taller. And he's got that long hair, and he's like, all that sort of thing. And it's clear that he still kind of, you know, has a crush on her, but she's like, yeah, I guess we could hang out, whatever. So she goes to school. Everyone's staring at her because she's a new girl. And she's like, oh, I'm just so, you know, I'm so clumsy, whatever. And she goes to class, and it's like the science room, and this is where she meets Edward. And it's so funny. So he's looking at her, and she's walking in, and then you see like the fan blow her hair, the smell, towards him. And then we cut to Edward. And behind Edward is like a stupid fucking taxidermy of like an owl with the wings out. So it looks like he has fucking angel wings. It's so stupid, but really funny. And then he smells her and he immediately starts like covering his face. Like you smell really bad. And she's like, what the hell is his problem? So she sits next to him and I'm like, yeah, girl, I'd also be like, what the hell is your problem? Why are you acting like I stink? So she's like smelling her hair to see if she smells or something because he's acting all weird and like scooches away from her and she's like, there's something weird with this guy. And like, he's like scooching the paper over to her and she's just like, okay, this guy is terrible. He's an awful person. And then later during lunch, she's asking, like, she sees the Cullens all sitting together at their table, and Anna Kendrick and some other girl, they're, like, talking to her, and she's like, so who are there? And Anna Kendrick's character is like, oh, they're the Cullens, but they kind of have, like, this weird, you know, they're, like, a family, but they're kind of dating each other. It's weird. Don't hang out with them. Which, to be fair, like, watching this movie, trying to, like, look at it not, like, from the Twilight universe, but looking at it as, like, a regular person, like, how do the regular townspeople see these people? They are fucking weird. It's, like, they all have the same last name, Cullen, so you assume they're all sister, brother, whatever. But, like, 4 of them are paired off with each other. So, like, Alice is with Jasper, and then Rosalie is with Emmett, and then there's Edward. And it's like, they're all supposed to be siblings, but 4 of the siblings look like they're dating each other. That's weird. Why? But also their dad is, like, the town doctor, so I can't really say anything weird about him. But this is weird. So I'm like, yeah, it feels like it's just 5 siblings that are incestuous with each other. Like, that is totally what it seems.
And no one's doing anything about it.
And no one's doing anything about it. And they're like, yeah, they're weird. That's why we don't talk to them. I'm like, you know what? I get it. I wouldn't want to talk with them either. And they're like, oh, they're also, like, incredibly rich, so I guess no one does anything because they're super rich. But, like, I swear to God, I saw those 2 macking on each other, and they're supposed to be siblings. So it's like, either they're not siblings, and you're like, what's going on here then? Because they all have the same last name. Or they are siblings, and they're just incestuous. It's weird either way. And they're like, none of them look anything like each other. So I'm like, yeah, that's just a weird family.
Maybe they're all just adopted.
It's a weird family. It makes sense from like a Mormon perspective, but from like a regular person perspective, it's weird. So Bella's like, okay, yeah, I guess they're weird. And then the next day, she goes to school, and that's when I think the car thing happens that we saw in the trailer. So she like gets out, and Edward is like, is this when this happens? Yeah, this is it. And he like sees that the car is almost gonna hit her because someone is like not paying attention when they're driving their car or whatever, and he flashes in front, protects her, and then pushes the car, and he dents the car. And Bella sees this. She's like, this man just traveled like 200 meters in 1 second, was suddenly in front of me. I almost got swished by this car, but now he's suddenly in front of me, and he dented the car. That car should have killed me and him, but he dented the car, and the car got pushed. So she's like, what the heck is going on right now? Like, what is going on this day right here? And she confronts Edward about it later, who now is, like, acting nicer to her. And she's like, you were acting all weird to me. Also, how did you do that with the car? And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I saw you. And he's like, oh, you must have hit your head. So he's immediately gaslighting her. And she's like, no, I saw you push the car. And he's like, let's not talk about it. And then they're doing, like, the microscope thing, and she's like, ugh, whatever. And
Science, whatever.
Well, no, because he's trying to be nice to her, and she's like, you were so mean to me yesterday, and then now you're trying to act like I didn't see what I didn't see. You're gaslighting me, and now you want to work on this project together because we're lab partners. And he'll be like, this is what I see. It's blah, blah, blah. And then she looks to look for herself. She's like, okay, it's blah, blah, blah. And then she looks and says it's blah, blah, blah. And it's like some dumb thing. So I'm like, okay. So he does that, and then later he's like, yeah, don't be friends with me. That's when he's like, what if I'm not, because she's like, you're like some kind of hero, because I think that's what she wants to know. She's like, I don't know why you're acting coy about it. You like saved my life. You're like some hero. And he's like, what if I'm not the hero though? What if I'm the bad guy? Don't be friends with me. And she's like,
oh my god.
And she's like, well, now I want to know you even more.
No, now I'm like, you're a fucking freak. Get away from me.
Well, because, you know, this is a woman writing this fantasy, and in her mind,
This is me, a woman writing my fantasy, where I stick this guy with a fucking restraining order, and then I commit crime.
Yeah. And then, I think
for it.
at some point, Jacob he's gonna pick Bella up or something. I don't know. He sees her with Edward, and they're kind of like,
go to hang out with him.
yeah, he's like, oh, hey. And Edward's like, okay, I'm gonna go. And Bella later, they're walking on some beach or something. She's like, what's going on with that? And Bella's like, or Jacob's like, yeah, we don't like them. Those are weird people. And she's like, well, why don't you like them? And he's like, well, you know, this is kind of legend stuff. But a long time ago, my tribe talked about, you know, these pale walking people that were monsters, and they would eat people, and etc. And they're like, they're not good, and they're not supposed to be, they're not allowed on the reservation, basically. You know, they're our enemies. And he's like, well, you know, it's just kind of legend, whatever, but still, they're not allowed. And she's like, okay. And I don't even remember what happens at this point. She goes like prom dress shopping, I think, with Anna Kendrick and the other girl. There's some point or whatever where like they go to some field trip at like some like greenhouse area, and then this Asian kid, he's like holding this worm on a stick, and he's like, look Bella, look Bella, it's a worm. And I'm like, what is this in here for? But it's also like, so like two of the guys have these huge crushes on Bella. Like it's classic Mary Sue. She's new, she's clumsy, whatever, she doesn't know she's beautiful. You don't know you're beautiful. And then the guys like are obsessed with her. One of them tries to ask her out to prom. She's like, no thanks. And he's like, okay. And she's like, but you should ask that other girl out, because I think she's really into you. And he's like, okay, yeah, thanks. So she goes prom dress shopping with the other two, but you know, she's not like other girls, so she's doesn't want to do the prom shopping. And they're like, okay. And she's walking around, and then she runs into some guys. This is the one chapter I remember in Twilight because of the visceral description of Bella thinking about what she would do to get out of the situation. And she mentions like she would punch up the nose to break it with her hand. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that before. So that's the part of Twilight that lives in my head rent-free. Is like, oh, I should remember this for self-defense reasons. But the guys are like harassing her and not leaving her alone. But of course, Edward, who's been following her this whole time,
because he's a fucking creep.
Yeah, I think she saw him in this, like, outside the store or something. That's why she wanted to go. Anyways, he saves her from them. He makes quick work of the gang, puts her in the... Oh, no, he actually doesn't even confront them. He's just like, get in the car! And she's like, okay. And she gets in the car, and he starts, like, speeding away. And he's like, you shouldn't go out alone like that. And she's like, I can do what I want. Also, why do you keep following me? And he's like, you wouldn't understand. And then, also he's driving like this sports car, and he drops her off at home, and she's like, okay. So now she's like, I'm going to do some independent research. So she goes onto google.com, and she types in vampire.
Stupid. Ah!
And we get a fun look at the old 2002 Wikipedia UI, RIP, God bless. And what? And she's just
Gone
looking.
Too soon.
She's just looking at pictures of vampires, and it's a great montage. It's like she's like highlighting like cold to the touch, feels like death. Cause she like touched him at one point. She's like, oh, "You're so cold," and he's like, "Yeah." And she's like highlighting like drinks blood, monster, whatever. It's like this is so stupid, you know, like research montages. Also, while all this is happening, some people have been getting attacked by like something. So that's where the police, like Charlie is like, someone got attacked by an animal, blah, 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 you know, sort of thing. I think Jacob's dad is also a police officer, or he's like the neighboring chief or something, but he works with the dad, Charlie. And so she's like, oh, I've put it together. I've connected the dots. He's a vampire. So she, like, hangs out with him at some point. They're in, like, the woods. I don't even know how they got there, but they just do. So she's like, I know what you are. She says the thing. She's like, your skin is cold to the touch. You never eat or sleep or whatever. You never do this. Yada, yada, yada. I know what you are. And he's like, say it. Say it then. And she goes, vampire. And that scene is so stupid because they're trying to be, like, so sincere about it, but it's so dumb. Iconic. Say it. Say what I am. Vampire. So then he's like, yeah, now you know what I am. And he's all, like, brooding up in the trees. He keeps, like, showing off his athletic prowess in front of her and is like, it's so stupid. He's, like, up in the tree posing like this, but then leaning down towards her, and she's, like, looking up at him. It's, like, so... And he, like, jumped to another tree and did the exact same thing. And he's like, aren't you scared? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, no, I'm not scared. I love you. And he's like, you don't even know me. I don't know if he actually says that, but that's what he should say.
That is what he should say, because you don't fucking know this guy. Also,
Yeah.
he's a fucking vampire.
I know.
Like, Jesus Christ.
And then he's like, I'm so drawn to you. You smell delicious and irresistible and blah, 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 blah. But, you know. And she was also like, how do you know what those bad men were thinking? Because he was like, you don't know what they were thinking. And she's like, how do you know? And he's like, well, you know, I can read minds. Some of us have special powers. I can read minds. She's like,
God.
What am I thinking then? He's like, that's the thing. I can't read your mind. And she's like,
Oh my God.
I'm special. And that's why he's also drawn to her, because he can't read her mind. And then at some point, she, like, goes onto his back, and he's like, hang tight, spider monkey, and they go running around the trees. It's so stupid. And then, they mention, so she's like, so do you, like, burst into flames? I don't think that's what she actually says, but she's like, how come we don't do the sunlight? Because he's like, we live in Forks because, you know, it's rainy all the time. And he's like, this is what it looks like in the sun, is to protect you. So the, like, cloud kind of parts away, and then you see his skin glitter, and she's like, it's beautiful. It's like diamonds. And he's like, no, it's like, this is the skin of a killer, Bella.
The skin of a killer.
It's beautiful. This is the skin of a killer, Bella. It's so funny. This is why I'm watching the movie. I'm like, I can't take this seriously. And then they're laying in some flower field, and she's just like, wow, you look so beautiful, sparkling there. And he's like, I'm so into you. And I'm like, this is really fast development. And then he brings her to introduce her to his family, and this scene in the book is the infamous giveaway of them being Mormon, because she's like, I wore this khaki ankle-length skirt, but, you know, I'm worried it's not modest enough. And it's like, Miss Thing, a khaki skirt? Okay, whatever. Anyways, so she goes, and he's like, no, you look perfect. You look so sexy. And it's like, all right. So she goes to meet the family, and you see the family before he arrives, and they're trying to cook for her, but they don't need to eat regular human food, so they've, like, haven't cooked in a really long time. So they're like, how do we know if this tastes good or not? They're trying to make this salad. It's really funny. The family scenes are like, with the siblings are kind of funny. Emmett has some funny lines where they're like, how do we know this is good or not? Do people still eat this? Whatever. And Edward tells her, like, oh yeah, I don't suck blood. Carlisle brings us blood bags from the hospital, and also we drink the plasma, and that people donate, and then also sometimes we eat animal blood, so we're like a vegetarian vampire. I haven't had human blood in so long. And she's like, okay, cool, so you're one of the good ones. You're not like the other ones. So they're trying to cook for Bella, and she arrives, and they're like, hi, Bella, oh my god, hi, so nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And then Jasper, who's the newest one, he was like a Civil War soldier that got turned into a vampire. I think he fought for the Confederates, so, you know.
He's a good guy.
We love that. He's like reformed by Alice, and Alice is like the manic pixie dream girl sister. She's like the quirky one who can see into the future, and then Rosalie is the one that like doesn't like Bella because of course, you know,
She
even
likes
though
Edward.
Rosalie likes
No.
Emmett is her bonded mate. That Rosalie is like beautiful, but she hates Bella. It's because Bella has what Rosalie doesn't, which is Bella's human, so that's why she doesn't like her. And Rosalie wanted like a baby, but she can't have one. It's like a whole thing that gets into the other movies. Anyways, I think at some point Bella cuts herself, and then Jasper kind of loses it and tries to attack, and they're like, no. So they like take him outside. And she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And it's like, it's okay, whatever, you know, sort of thing. And then she's like looking at Edward's room, and it's this huge, beautiful Pacific Northwest glass window modern sort of thing. He can play piano, and they're playing piano, and it's beautiful. I think maybe this is where he's like climb on Spider Monkey and they run around. I don't remember.
Beautiful.
Yeah. She's super into it because of course he can play piano and look brooding while doing it. And then someone had composed, what is it, like As a River Flows, or The River Flows in You, which is based on Twilight. The way everyone was playing that in my high school on the piano, it was everywhere. But I thought it was in the movie Twilight. It's not in the movie Twilight. It's just inspired by the movie Twilight. So then I don't even remember. Let me see. Some of the Cullens are concerned the family's secret could be exposed. And they're like, yeah, no, don't worry about that. You learn a little bit about people's backstories. And then, then later Edward's like, hey, and then the wall shows like everybody's like high school diplomas, and it's like covered in high school diplomas. So they like move around a lot to like, because at some point it's like the gig is up. Why are you still in high school? You know, you haven't aged. So it's like a collection of them. And Edward's like, oh, it's kind of an inside joke. And at some point, Edward invites Bella to baseball with the family because it's going to be thunderstorming. And he's like, we love playing baseball. It's the great American pastime, and the only time we can play because we hit the ball so damn hard because none of us know how to dumb down our strength, and we want to hit it as far as we can is during a thunderstorm, because us hitting the ball sounds like thunder. I know. I'm like, you should move near a military base because people will just assume it's them doing artillery round training, just like Fort Bragg. Anyways, so they go out, and she's like, I've never played baseball before. I'm not athletic. And it's like,
she's never played baseball before?
She's like, I'm not good at sports. And he's like, it's okay. You can play, like, you can just be the ref or the umpire or whatever. And she's like, okay. So then Supermassive Black Hole starts playing, and and they start playing baseball, and they hit the ball as hard as they can, and they can go run into the woods at super fast speed. They're playing vampire baseball. It's kind of an iconic scene. It's hilarious. But lo and behold, the baseball is interrupted because there's another vampire coven that shows up. And hilariously, I know they become the bad guys, but they initially show up because they're like, hey,
we want to play baseball too.
Yeah, they're like, we heard you playing baseball, can we join? And they're like, okay, sure, yeah, you can join. But the family now is really stressed out because they're like, we have a human with us and we don't want to eat her, but they might want to eat her. Also, they're kind of intruding on our territory right now. And they're like, we're just passing through. We mean you no harm. We heard you playing baseball, and we want to play because, you know, this sounds like fun. Do you have room for 3 more people? So I think that's just really funny to me, like, what, you know, the sort of thing. But then, of course, the bad vampire, he smells Bella, and he's like, you brought a snack. And they're like, no, actually, she's with us. And they're like, ooh, you're not really supposed to do that. And they're like, well, you should get off our turf now. And the black vampire, he's like, okay, yeah, we mean no disrespect. But the white vampire, he's smelling her and he's looking at her and he's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna track you later.
I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you.
And the family is kind of like, oh shit. And they're like, you know what? We have to get Bella as far away from here as possible. We need to send her to Arizona. And she's like, what? Why? And they're like, because that guy loves the chase and he's going to come back and find you and he's really good at tracking and he's not going to stop until he kills you. So for your safety, we need to send you out of the state and we're going to figure out how to deal with him. And she's like, and she's like, are you coming with me though, right, to Edward? He's like, no, I have to stay here. She's like, no, I don't want to leave without you. I don't want to be anywhere without you, blah, 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 this and this and this. And he's like, it's for your own safety, Bella. Oh, also, I think before this happened, there's like, she's in her bedroom and he like sneaks in and he's like, sometimes I like watching you sleep. And she's like, that's so romantic. And I'm like, that's really not. And then they like make out in her room and he like tries to kiss her, but then at some point he gets overwhelmed with how good she smells because he wants to eat her. And I'm like, this is getting kinky. And then he leaves.
Sensuality. The scene of sensuality.
That's the scene of sensuality because she's in like a tank top and underwear when this is all happening. So that's the kiss scene in there that happens at some point. So now they're like, we have to get her, and they're like, also for your dad's safety, you know, make sure he doesn't follow you or anything. Like, we'll come get you. You just need to go. So she's like, okay. I don't even know if she was gonna go to Arizona, if they were gonna take her to another like safe house or something. But they're like, you need to stay with us because we are the only ones that can protect you. So she like makes up an argument with the dad, and she says some hurtful things to him about how she wants to leave and go back home, and he's upset because, you know, she has to hurt him to save him, sort of thing. Which is really kind of sad. I'm like, oh no, the dad, you're hurting his feelings.
Charlie.
Yeah. So the family's like, okay, come stay with us so we can protect you. I guess they weren't actually going to take her out of the state. I thought they were. Hold on, let me see. They were going to protect her. Oh yeah, I think Jasper and Alice. Oh no, they did take her to Arizona. Yeah. So that happens and she's there, but then I think like she's on the way, but then when she calls her mom, the mom sounds really panicked and she's like, oh, they have my mom, like the bad vampire. He's like, if you leave, I'm gonna kill your mom, so you're gonna come here with me, because like Alice and Jasper are with her, but she goes to use like the bathroom and he calls her, and he's like, you're gonna come to this ballet studio, blah blah blah. I guess they're in Phoenix. So she's, okay. I don't know. She's in Phoenix and she gets the call and the guy makes it sound like he has her mom and that he's going to hurt her. And he's like, so come to the ballet studio that you used to go to as a kid so that she won't get hurt. So she's like, okay. And he's like, don't tell anybody where you're going. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, you're making all the wrong decisions here. So she goes by herself and she's like, Mom, where are you? But of course, what he used was family home videos as the recording. I don't even know how he got a hold of them, but he did. And he's like, well, here you are. And he's like, well, first I'm going to play with my food. So he starts throwing her around and torturing her and breaking her bones and all that stuff. And then he starts sucking her blood. And the way they describe it is it's like vampire venom. So it kills you because it's poisonous. But it could turn it also, that's the thing that turns you into a vampire. So eventually the family realizes where she is because Alice, you know, has precognition. So they find her, the family comes in, they attack the guy, but Bella is like dying because she's, you know, she's starting to turn into the vampire, I think. And Carlisle is like, no, we can't let that happen to her. We need her to stay human. Because Edward's like, I don't want her to be a vampire. I want her to stay human. You know, I don't want to curse her with this sort of thing. And Carlisle's like, okay, then you have to suck.
My kink is humans.
Yeah. And he's like, then you have to suck out the vampire blood, the vampire poison. You have to suck it out of her. Because I think it's like, if you're completely drained, then you won't get it. But if there's still something left in you, then you'll turn or whatever. And Miss Kristen Stewart is sitting here, you know, acting like she's dying, and I think she's doing a convincing job. But then Carlisle's like, and Edward's like, no, what if I drink too much? What if I kill her? And Carlisle's like, if you love her, you won't do it. So Edward starts sucking out the vampire poison, and it's so hot and cool. And then Carlisle later is like, okay, you can stop now. You can stop now. Edward, you can stop now. But he's finding it hard to, like, stop. And you're like, oh no, is he going to bleed Bella dry? But no, Bella wakes up in the hospital. Oh, and they kill the guy.
No.
She wakes up in the hospital. Oh, but they kill the guy by ripping his head off and then burning his body. And I'm like, this is a lot. But she wakes up in the hospital and everybody's over there and they're like, you lost a lot of blood. They said you hit your head. She's like, yeah, I think that's all true. And then she's later telling the dad, like, by the way, I want to move back in with you. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. That's good to know. And then she goes to prom with Edward, but her foot is still broken, so she's in prom with, like, a boot on her leg, and she dances with Edward. I don't even think she goes to the real prom. She missed the prom, but they, like, hold prom in her backyard, and then she gets to dance with Edward, and it's so nice and romantic, and that's the movie.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to pay attention.
It's okay. It's a movie. It's one of those movies that is better when you watch it drunk. Oh, and then the lover of the guy that was trying to kill Bella is now plotting her revenge, and that kicks off the second movie. But yeah, it's just very indie movie, which is hard to even think, but it was an indie movie. Very campy, very on the nose, hilarious, impactful, iconic, the generator of a lot of memes.
Impactful,
iconic. Good? No, not good, but hilarious. I would say more watchable than the other three movies.
Okay.
Because I think it's short. It's shorter. You don't have to put up with it for very long. Again, there's a camp level to it that I appreciate. It's almost like a student film, like, in a way. It's very, like, rough and raw, and I think it kind of loses some of that in the other movies because now it has tasted success. And even the stories, just they make less and less sense at that point, in my opinion. Although I've seen New Moon several times for some reason. It's just, I am in a scenario where someone is watching it and I just end up watching it with them because I'm like, whatever, I don't have anything else better to do. But yeah, that's the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'd recommend it just for the jokes. You could play, like, a drinking game out of it. Even if it's non-alcoholic, you could be like, I'll drink a sip of my milk every time this and this happens.
Why did you have to be milk?
Because I know that's something you drink that most people
but
don't.
the way it was like you couldn't pick the lamest drink.
That, to me, that is the lamest drink.
I know, but but did you have to pick the lamest drink? You couldn't give me some fucking, I don't know, dignity.
I need something on the same level of depravity as alcohol, and I'm gonna say an adult who still drinks milk is on there.
Everyone in my family is an adult who still drinks milk. Okay?
Then your entire family can play this milk lactose
I'm
drinking
gonna
game.
fight you!
And then fight for the bathroom afterwards.
We don't have that problem. You're welcome.
I don't gain anything from
You're welcome!
It must be nice.
Wouldn't it be nice? Dun, dun. Anyway, okay. Well, I'm still not gonna watch this movie. I feel like I get any of this cultural impact from, like, the memes.
This is true, yeah.
Like, I don't need context to be like, oh boy, I finally understand. Like, no. I think because it is so blatant, there's no, what's the word? there's nothing underneath the surface.
Oh yeah,
That it's like, okay, if I don't need to know anything.
yeah.
Listening to it, I was like, God, this book to read today would have been infuriating.
It was infuriating for me to read at the time, because, like, someone recommended it to me and was like, it's so good, and I was like, okay, and then they're like, I'll let you borrow it, and I was like, okay, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, this is not good. This is actually not a good book, and I think, you know, if a 17, 16-year-old could figure that out, it's not good. It's not a good book. Like, in terms of YA books, The Hunger Games is a much better book. Even Harry Potter, even though the author is kind of terrible, like, that was better written, better story. Twilight is just not... It's not good. It's just... It has such little substance, in my opinion. I think it's worth the analysis, especially in terms of, like, how Mormon is the story. The answer is very... and, like, adding it to the long lineage of, again, monster fucking, and why are women or people in general attracted to this kind of book. Analyzing it for the really toxic relationship signs, yes. Like, Edward is not a good person or partner by how he behaves. There's a lot of really problematic stuff in there, but from, like, a female fantasy point of view, it's kind of like, well, this behavior is excused because I know he's a good person and I find him attractive and I know the intentions are good. But it's because she is inventing him and she knows that this is good that it's able to kind of work. Because it's fiction, but it is certainly not a relationship to model after, which I think is fine. I don't think every fictional relationship needs to be a good one. Like, at all. That's how you get some compelling stuff. But I do think some of the issue is that Bella doesn't think too critically about how he's behaving, and it is normalized within the text, which I think kind of says something about society as a whole. And I think we've kind of moved past that, but I'm sure there are still books, like... These are probably all very common tropes among romance novels in general. Like, when we think about... like, Wuthering Heights, even, like, there's a lot of parallels to how Edward acts and how Heathcliff acted, so it's not, you know, without precedence in the genre, I will say. So, which, again, that's another book written by a woman, female fantasy, whatever. There's, again, ContraPoints has a great video on Twilight and talking about romance novels and, you know, why they are the way they are and why Twilight is the way they are, which I like. I think Lindsay Ellis has another video about that too. But also there's a scene where Jacob is like, Bella, where the hell you been, Loca? And I always imagine it in the Jennifer Coolidge voice because that was popular on TikTok. But yeah, it's just a movie. I think it's a funny movie. I feel like it's like... I'm trying to think what would be a good parallel. But it feels like one of those movies, like, I don't know, Animal House or something, that people are like, oh my god, you have to watch this movie from the 80s or the 90s. It was so popular, blah, 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 blah. And then you watch it and it's like, it wasn't that good. This is that kind of movie, but for the 2000s.
2010? No?
The 2010s?
No.
What is
it?
8? 2008, yeah. The late 2000s,
Wow.
yeah. This is one of those kind of movies. Because Animal House, I don't think was that great of a movie. I don't know why I picked that one, but...
I haven't seen it for your comp.
Yeah. But it has that Rocky Horror Picture Show camp because of the production quality. Even though it's not as good as Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I haven't seen Rocky Horror.
I was
I
gonna
just
say
haven't
that's
gotten around to it.
It's such a good movie, but we're using the word good loosely. I think it's a great movie. Genuinely. But it's kind of got a different metric going on. It defines cult classic. But yeah,
Right.
that's the movie.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Are you gonna ask me any follow-up questions?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, do you have any other thoughts? Or do you want to just go
No.
into rating the movie?
we can just rate it.
Okay. How many stars do you want to rate this movie?
I'm gonna give it 2 stars.
I think 2 stars is what it deserves on the basis of quality. But on the
Okay.
basis of entertainment, I would give it 5 stars.
Okay, I'm giving it based on quality, not entertainment. Cause you know what, I was also not entertained.
You have to watch it with the right group. It's not a
Oh my
movie
God.
you sit down to watch. It's a movie you sit down to make fun of and provide color commentary. Like, that's the kind of movie
It is.
it is. Yeah, it's like a talk through it, yell at it kind of movie. Throw popcorn at the screen kind of movie.
Okay.
Okay, well, Monze, where can they find us?
You can find us. Hold on. You can find us on Instagram at We Don't Watch Movies Pod. I just had a brain fart. Sorry.
I heard it.
And
Stinky.
and you can find me on Instagram at MagicMonster. Corinne, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Karina's Korean. Ooh. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Let us know your thoughts about Twilight, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.